Good evening. I welcome you again to our current affairs session, October 21st, 2014. In the year 1959, on this particular day, some of the CRPF policemen, Central Reserve Police Force, they have been killed in an ambush by the Chinese troops. So since then, entire India is observing October 21st as the police commemoration day. This is the day of the bravery of the Indian policemen. That's the reason why in every police unit, rather in every police commissionerate, this day will be remembered. And on this particular day, that is today, all the brave police officers' names will be read out and they will maintain a silence for a period of 2 minutes. So this is how we remember those great people and we salute them. And that falls today. Today is October 21st. And apart from this, we have some other news. So we'll have a discussion. We'll start the discussion with that. Let me open the document for you straight away. First of all, let me talk to you something about the Japan. Recently, we have seen the Prime Minister of India has visited Japan, and the Prime Minister of Japan has welcomed Indian Prime Minister, and we had a bilateral talk with each other in Japan recently. And if you look at the Prime Minister of Japan, so he was also in favor of the empowerment of the woman. That's the reason why he was one person so in the world so who always talks about the empowerment of the woman. And after Narendra Modi has visited Japan, later he decided to increase the number of women ministers in his cabinet. But unfortunately, yesterday there were some allegations against two of the women ministers and they have submitted the resignation. This is considered to be a serious blow to the Japanese Prime Minister. We'll see those points. I'm opening the document for you now. Kindly stay on. Look at this. The Prime Minister of Japan is Mr. Shinzo Abe. He was one person who is for the women to be in the responsible position. He always used to talk like this. Women should be always be there in the responsible position. It should not be dominated and occupied only by the men. And yesterday, that is October 20th of 2014, two women ministers submitted their resignation over claims that they misused the political funds. This is considered to be a serious blow to the Prime Minister. See here, kindly see here, it is not just in Japan or any other country, rather, if it is India also, whenever any minister resigns because of any such allegations, the responsibility lies with the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is expected to give the explanation to the media and also to the people. And in the same manner, this particular situation has become a serious embarrassment to the Prime Minister of Japan because the two women cabinet ministers have submitted the resignation letters. Now, I'm coming back to the document. I'm opening it again. Look at this. So it was a big blow to his gender reforms drive. He was one person who always talks about the reforms in this sector where women should be more empowered. Look at the names of these two people. So one is the industry minister, second one is the justice minister. Industry minister was Yukio Obuchi and justice minister was Midori Matsushima. So these two ministers have submitted the resignation letter. And with this, what happened? The number of women in the Prime Minister's cabinet has been reduced to 3. Previously, it was 5. And with the submission of the resignation by these two women, the number has become, again, it has become 3. I'm scrolling it down. Look at this. Since Japan is there in the news, Anything may be a question with respect to this. See, kindly remember one thing. If Japan is there in the news because of the resignation that is done by men cabinet ministers, it would not have been a serious issue or a discussion. But since these ministers are the women, where the prime minister is talking about their empowerment, that's the reason why it may be a possible question in any examination which you are going to write in the future. Since Japan is there in the news, it may not be related to the resignation of the ministers, or any question may be coming up. Any question may be coming up in the examination. That's the reason why I am showing you this question. Kindly have a look at this. Which of the following was the first country visited by the Indian Prime Minister for bilateral talks outside Indian subcontinent? Within Indian subcontinent, rather after he becomes the Prime Minister, the first country that was visited by Mr. Narendra Modi was the Nepal. And outside this Indian subcontinent for bilateral talks, kindly remember, for bilateral talks, it is the country that is Japan. Clear? Of course, he also visited this Brazil. That's a different concept. In Brazil, he went there to attend BRICS summit. So obviously in this particular, and USA, it happened last month, we have seen. And when it comes to this question, the answer is Japan. Very, very important. And this is the Indian Prime Minister. If you want me to add the name, I can add the name Narendra Modi. So your N should be capital. So this is the point here. Kindly remember this. In any examination, it may be a question. So out of this given options here, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So it should be, the answer should be Japan, right? So now hopefully you are clear with this now. So I'm showing the now. So this is something to talk about Japan. Now I would like to talk to you regarding another country in Southeast Asian region, that is Indonesia. Indonesia has got a new president. Indonesia is one of the important countries in the Southeast Asian region. And today, this Indonesia becomes important with respect to our discussion because it got a new president when there is so much of economic pressure on the country. And we have to wait and watch how exactly the new president will be handling this. I'll show you the document. I'll show you some points. And after that, I have some questions for you. I'll show you those questions also. I'm opening the document. Look at this. I'm talking to you regarding Indonesia. Look at this. The country has got the new president by name Joko Widodo. Kindly remember this name because it's a one important country in the Southeast Asian region. May be a possible question. I told you already to have a world map beside you. If you have world map beside you, kindly have a look at Indonesia. Just try to find out what is the location, where exactly it is located. Try to look at the map. Now, if you look at this gentleman, the new president, basically he was a furniture businessman. He was a businessman, and of course he also served as the mayor of a city in Indonesia, and the name of the city is Solo, S-O-L-O, Solo. And he also served as the governor of the capital city, that is Jakarta. And you must be knowing this, the capital city of Indonesia is Jakarta, and for that Jakarta also he served as the governor. So he was there in the politics, he served as the mayor, he served as the governor of the capital city, and now this gentleman has become the president of Indonesia. Look at this. Entire Asia and the world is watching this country, as there are so many pressing economic problems in this country, is watching him, is watching him, as there are so many pressing economic problems in this country. Of course, India also has good relations with this Indonesia, and how exactly the bilateral relations will be improved, so we'll try to see so over a period of time. Now look at this. I'm showing you one question. Try to answer it if you can. Which of the following country is the largest in the Southeast Asian region? Here straight away you can expect the answer, because I'm talking to you about Indonesia. Indonesia should be the, but because Indonesia is there in the news, the question may not be related only to the president. Question may be anything, and one of the possible questions may be this also. That's the reason why I gave you this question for our understanding. Look at the question, and the answer is Indonesia. There are so many countries in the Southeast Asian region, and out of all these, the largest country is Indonesia. Kindly remember this. Look at the question, and the answer is Indonesia. Right. So option D is the answer. That is Indonesia. I'm scrolling it down. We have something note here. It is for our information. Kindly look at this. Now forget about Indonesia for a period of time. If you read this note, first point, in the world, Russia is the largest country. Area wise, please. Area wise, Russia is the largest country, and population wise, China is the largest country. Highest population is present in China, largest area is present in Russia. Okay, and with respect to India, India is considered to be the second. It is not second here. Just to make a change here. So this is the seventh largest country in the world with respect to area. India is the seventh largest country with respect to area. India is the second largest country with respect to the population. In the examination, question may be anything. This is a part of general knowledge. Kindly remember this. Area wise, Russia is the largest. Area wise, India is the seventh largest. Okay, and I'm talking to you about other point. With respect to the population, highest population is present in China. It is the most populous country in the world. And when it comes to India, India is the second most populous country in the world. Kindly remember this. In the similar manner, look at the last point. Last point here. Vatican City is the smallest country in the world. Look at this. What is that I have given in the brackets? Very small country, just 44 hectares. And the total population is also less than 1000. Very small. And as far as the known countries are concerned, so Vatican City is the smallest country in the world. If you know the location of this Vatican City, this particular Vatican City is completely surrounded by Rome City. Very important, right? Now, kindly remember these points. Maybe the questions in the examination. I am scrolling it down. Now look at this. Another important question. Which of the following country is the third largest democracy in the world? India, United States of America, Pakistan, Indonesia. Kindly remember, whatever I have given you here, 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D, all these are democratic countries. Look at this question. Which country is the third largest democracy in the world? Here the answer should be Indonesia. Very important. But otherwise, if you remove the word third, the largest democratic country in the world is India. Second largest democratic country in the world is the United States of America. And at number 3 position, I have Indonesia. Kindly remember these points. Very, 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 very important for the examination point of view. Next one. When it comes to United States of America, it's a democratic country, there is no doubt. But there may be another question with respect to United States of America. United States of America is considered to be the oldest democracy in the world. Oldest democratic country in the world is United States of America. Largest democratic country is India, and USA is the second largest democratic country, and third largest democratic country is Indonesia. Kindly remember all the points here. Any point may be a question in the examination. Again, I'll show you the document. Kindly have a look at this. ABCD. So obviously here the option D should be the answer. Yes, it is Indonesia. It is the third largest democratic country in the world. I have given some points here. Kindly have a look at this. Note, India is the largest democratic country in the world. We have seen just now, I told you. United States of America is the second largest democratic country in the world. Yes, we have understood this. And United States of America is the oldest democratic country in the world. Kindly remember all the points. Now, I'm scrolling it down. I'm going to the next one. In the beginning of the class, I told you this. Which of the following day is observed as Police Commemoration Day? Just how I told you, this is today, October 21st. So hence option C should be the answer. I'm scrolling it down. Answer is C. And I told you already why we are observing this day as the Police Commemoration Day. Clear? Now, I'm going to the next point. So there is something called the G20 summit. So we'll try to understand. So what exactly is the G20 summit here? Of course, I am not going to talk to you regarding so many things here. But otherwise, I am going to talk to you regarding some points with related to G20. Next month, G20 summit is going to happen. It is going to take place in Australia. And in the last week, I asked you to watch UNO videos, UNO 1 and UNO 2. In UNO 1, I gave you so many fundamentals with respect to any international organization. And one of the fundamentals is that using the word summit. During that time, I told you, whenever I use the word summit, it is attended by the real executives. This is what we have seen. So here also I am using the word G20. G stands for group of 20. And I am using the word summit here, G20 summit. Obviously, the real executives of various countries will be attending. Then from India, it should be the Prime Minister. Hence, Mr. Narendra Modi is going there to attend the summit in Australia. Of course, Australia is ready to welcome the Prime Minister of India. The news is that so many people in that country, including various ministers in Australia, plus the Indians who are staying over there, they are making grand welcome arrangements for Mr. Narendra Modi. It seems that the gentleman, the Prime Minister, again going to speak in Hindi, it seems. He also spoke in Hindi in United Nations General Assembly. And when he was speaking to Indians in America, he spoke in Hindi. So it seems that again he is going to speak in Hindi, and the people are also happy because he is going to speak in Hindi, meaning he is carrying the cultures of India even to the Australia. It's a good thing that is going to happen. So regarding that G20, so we have some points and we'll try to have a discussion here. That's the reason why in this particular summit, the real executives are attending. And another important point is that Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, any Prime Minister of India is visiting Australia after almost 3 decades. After almost 3 decades, a Prime Minister of India is visiting Australia. And sometimes you will also come across with the concept of the joint session of the parliament. For example, if you look at India, in parliament I have 2 houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, lower house and upper house. Even in Australia also there are 2 houses, upper house and the lower house. And the Indian Prime Minister is going to address the joint session of Australian Parliament. Joint session in the sense, both the members of lower house and upper house will sit together and the Prime Minister of India is going to address them. He is going to deliver a speech. And addressing the joint session of Australian Parliament is happening for the first time by any Indian Prime Minister. Meaning, Narendra Modi will become the first Prime Minister of India to address joint session of the Australian Parliament. That's the reason why it is very much there in the news. Next month, that is in the month of November, the summit is going to happen. And immediately after the summit for 2 days is over, the Prime Minister is going to address the joint session of Australian Parliament. And of course, the Chinese president is also going there. He is also going to address the joint session of Australian Parliament. But as we all know, the Prime Minister of India has more charisma than any other leader in the world today. That's the reason why wherever he is going, he is being welcomed like anything. It's a very, very fantastic thing as far as India is concerned. I'll open the document. I'll show you the points to you. Kindly have a look at this. This is the G20 summit. Look at this. This may be a question. Where it is going to be held and or after it is completed, where it was held. The G20 summit is going to be held in Brisbane. That is in Australia on November 15th and 16th of 2014. It is less than 1 month. That is the reason why Australia is making very good arrangements. Look at the next point. This is the first trip of the Indian Prime Minister to Australia nearly after 3 decades. No Prime Minister has gone in between. And after 3 decades, our gentleman is going over there. Modi may be speaking in Hindi, right? He is more comfortable rather. So he'll be speaking, meaning, so he can express himself in a better manner when he's speaking in Hindi. But otherwise, the Prime Minister will speak very good English also. Modi is going to address the special joint session of the Australian Parliament. And once it is addressed, he will become the first Prime Minister of India to address the joint session of the Australian Parliament. And after that, our neighbor, China, the Chinese President Xi Jinping is also going to address the joint session. Very, 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 very important. Look at this. The name of the Chinese president is Xi Jinping, Jinping. It is a Chinese name. And how do you pronounce it? Unfortunately, one news reader in India who is working in part-time worker in Doordarshan lost the job. She lost the job for mispronouncing this particular name. It is written as Xijinping. And unfortunately, the newsreader thought that XI stands for 11. Then she said 11 Jinping. And that really costed her job. She was removed from the job. And of course, it is not Indian name, but especially the newsreaders, they should be very careful, especially when they are speaking or pronouncing the names of the important leaders who are coming from abroad. And it seems that it should be pronounced like XI should be pronounced like Xi Jinping. And that gentleman is going to address Australian Parliament special joint session. Okay, now I have some questions here. I'll open the document again. I'll show it to you. Kindly have a look at this. I think I don't have any question here, G20. So maybe tomorrow I'll be giving you some questions here. But otherwise, I'm going to talk to you something about the WHO, that is a World Health Organization. So this is the name itself is indicating this is an organization which will work for the better health facilities and better health conditions throughout the world. And in the recent past, we have seen that there is a dreaded disease called Ebola virus. Some people who came to India from the African countries, they were screened in the airports itself. Otherwise, in the previous classes, I was telling you, the virus itself is very, very dreaded. There is no cure for this. There is only prevention. That's the reason why it's a very, very dangerous one. Entire world is really taking very good measures as far as containing this particular Ebola virus is concerned. And this Ebola virus is very much prevalent in so many countries in the Australia, and so many people have died, unfortunately. WHO plus some other countries are working well in order to contain this. Now the point is that some of the countries which are really affected very badly about this. That's the reason why the WHO is monitoring each country in the African region with respect to the Ebola virus. And a country is considered to be Ebola free country. A country is considered to be Ebola free country if no new case will appear in 42 days. So that is a limitation that is put by WHO. A country may have the Ebola virus and the patients may be there. The indication that the Ebola is not spreading is that in the last 42 days, there should be no new case of this Ebola. That is a basic point. And last year, the WHO declared that there is a country called Senegal. Kindly have a look at the world map. And last week, that country was declared as Ebola free nation. And yesterday, another country called Nigeria, that Nigeria was declared as the Ebola free country today. Meaning tomorrow, if you write any examination, if the question is related to which country has been declared as Ebola free country by WHO, the latest country is the Nigeria. Right? Now I'll show you the document. I'm opening the document here. Yes, look at this. WHO, and you know this already. It stands for World Health Organization. And it announced that Nigeria is Ebola free country. Right? Next, it said that since September 8th, 2014, there was no new case. That there was no new case with respect to the Ebola. WHO required 42 days to announce that a nation is free from Ebola. Very, very important. If it is for 42 days, then only it will declare that it is a free from Ebola nation. And if you look at this, Nigeria, the Ebola virus has already killed 8 people. Of course, so many people have died. So many people have died in the African region. But with respect to Nigeria, because I am talking to you about Nigeria, 8 people were died. Look at this next point. European countries have committed for giving 500 million euros for containing Ebola. Obviously, what will happen, because it is a virus, it may spread in any direction. As the people are moving from one place to the other in the entire world, there is every possibility that the virus is also traveling. That's the reason why entire world is really worried, and European countries, they have committed for giving 500 million euros for containing the Ebola. Hopefully you have seen. Look at this. Look at this. I have a question here. I'm just scrolling it down. Kindly answer this. Look at the question now. Which of the following country is the most populous country in Africa? You can look at the answer. Answer is D, that is Nigeria. Remaining all countries are also part of Africa. South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Nigeria. The answer is the so-called is Nigeria. Okay. Just now we have seen in the beginning of our class, in the Southeast Asian region, the most populous country is the Indonesia. But now the question is related to Africa. In Africa, in entire Africa, if you take into consideration, Nigeria is the most populous country. Okay. Now look at this. Same question again. You can easily answer because I explained it to you already. Which of the following is the latest country that has been declared as the Ebola-free nation by World Health Organization? So obviously answer should be Nigeria. Of course, see here, if you look at option number 4, Senegal is there already. But Senegal, it was declared in the last week. Latest one is important for me, and the answer should be the so-called Nigeria. And kindly follow this particular news very frequently. And if WHO declares any other country as the Ebola-free nation, then that country will become the latest one. As of today, Nigeria is the answer. Of course, I'll be updating you whenever any changes are there. And look at this. Answer should be option number 2, and we have already known this. Look at this. There is something called note. Note is there. You can have a look at this. Last week, World Health Organization declared that Senegal also as the Ebola-free nation. But Senegal became the last week's point. But latest for me is the Nigeria. Look at this. Another point. This particular question, I was explaining it to you in the previous class. Look at this. Which of the following country accounts for 80% of the polio cases? And I was telling you during that time, it is the Pakistan, right? That is the reason why even today also India feels threat of polio virus, because it is very much present in our neighboring country. And I told you the reasons in the previous classes. So why there is so much here, especially the northwest part of the Pakistan, there are so many cases which are related to the polio virus. And I told you in that class very clearly what are the reasons. Okay, let me not repeat that. And in this particular case, the answer should be Pakistan. All right, look at this. Option number 3 is the answer. Now I'm going to the next one. Look at this. Look at the question. Read the question, please. This particular one is there in the news. Because of that reason, I gave you this question today. Which of the following islands of India was captured by Japanese army in the year 1942? Kindly remember this. 1942 is the period of World War II. Hopefully, every one of you must be knowing this. 1939 to 1945 is the World War II period. And this particular question is also related to that particular period. Which island of India was captured by Japanese army in the year 1942 during the World War II, and it was recaptured by British forces in the year 1945? Look at this. We know very clearly India was occupied by the British, and it was the British government that was present in India. And we know this. Now, so there was a very serious war that was going on, and Japan came towards India, and it also occupied one of the islands in India. And the question is related to which is that island. Okay, I have given you the list ABCD answers. Lakshadweep, Diu. Where is this Diu? Daman and Diu put together is called one union territory, but I am using this Diu only here. Wheeler Islands. So where are they present? This is present in Odisha coast. And at the end, we have seen very famous one, known one of the union territories in India, that is Andaman and Nicobar. And here the answer is Andaman and Nicobar. Now, why exactly is this, and why I am talking to you about this particular point today? See, here during that time, what happened? So many bombs were hurled during that time, and the bomb that was hurled during that time, it came to availability today, few days back in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The tribal people who are living over there, they have seen that, and they have intimated the same thing to the Indian Armed Forces. Later, the Indian Armed Forces, they went there, and it was diffused. Though it belongs to World War II period, the news is that it is still active. Because of any reason, there could have been a blast, and unfortunately some people could have died. Luckily, it was averted, and our people have taken the to an isolated beach, and it was diffused. It was deactivated. It's a good thing, and some people have survived here. That's the reason why it is very much there in the news. Kindly remember this particular question here. Read the question once again. Which of the following islands of India was captured by Japanese army in the year 1942 during the World War II? And again, it was recaptured by the British forces in the year 1945. Answer is Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Okay, look at this answer. Yes, the answer is option D. So this is the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Look at this. I have some points here for your understanding. Look at this. A bomb that was hurled during the World War II was found in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and it was identified by the tribals. And another important point for me, which I am highlighting it to you now, kindly look at the question. Look at the point here. A team of Marcos. What do you mean by this Marcos? In the brackets I have given, Marcos stands for Marine Commandos. And these Marine Commandos, acronym Marcos, they have disposed the bomb in a safe place. Just now I told you, it was taken to a beach in an isolated place. It has been disposed. And look at the next point here. What is this Marcos? Marine Commandos is a special operations unit of India, of the Indian Navy, which are trained to conduct highly specialized operations. Disposing the bombs is a very, very specialized operations. Out of so many operations, this is one very, 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 very important. Okay, kindly remember what is this? Marcos, Marine Commandos. And kindly remember, so this particular bomb was identified in Andaman and Nicobar, and Andaman and Nicobar, which is a part of India that was captured by Japan in 1942, again recaptured by British in the year 1945. This is the point. Okay, and I'm scrolling it down. I have another question for you. So this is absolutely today's. Is very much there in the news. Look at this. Look at the question here. Very recently, we have seen Indian hockey team did a fantastic job, and we won the gold medal in the Asian Games. After a long, long period, India won the gold medals, and obviously the credit should be given to all the players and also the team coach. Everybody should be given the credit here. But unfortunately, so today the chief coach of Indian hockey team submitted the resignation letter. It seems that there are disputes between this man and hockey board with respect to the payment. It seems that, of course, he criticized the Indian bureaucratic system and Indian payment system, and he was not at all happy with this. But otherwise, India is ready and it is gearing up to play the Olympic Games in the year 2016. And unfortunately, today it became a very, very big blow. But he submitted the resignation letter today. Whether he'll be convinced, whether he'll be coming back, we have to wait and watch. But as of today, the resignation has been submitted. And if the government of India and if Indian Hockey Federation feels that he is very, very important as far as the coming Olympics are concerned, he may be retained. Maybe some negotiations will take place. Extra amount may be paid to this gentleman, and he may be asked to stay back as a coach till the Olympic Games. These developments we'll see. But whatever it is, because he submitted the resignation letter today, he is very much there in the news. And that is the question I'm showing it to you. Look at this. Indian chief hockey coach Terry Walsh. His name is Terry Walsh, who guided Indian men's hockey team to a gold medal win in the recently concluded Asian Games in South Korea. This happened in South Korea, Incheon, submitted the resignation over pay disputes. We have total information here. India won the gold medal, and the name of the hockey coach is Terry Walsh. And the games were conducted in Incheon, that is in South Korea. And he submitted the resignation letter. And the actual question in this one is that he is the national of which of the following countries, meaning Terry Walsh belongs to New Zealand, South Korea, Australia, Netherlands. And here the answer is Australia. Option number 3 is the answer. So this gentleman belongs to Australia, and we'll just wait and watch what is going to happen with respect to this person, whether he will be forced to stay back or the resignation will be accepted, and whether India is going to get a new chief coach. We have to wait and watch. So what is going to happen within coming 1, 2 or 3 days. Okay, and that's all for today. So thank you so much for being with me this evening, and tomorrow we'll meet at the same time. Till then, I wish you all the very, very best. Thank you so much.